Well, again, hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Russell Palmer, and I am here on behalf of our Galileo team to share with you an introduction to Galileo for K12 Media Specialists and teachers. Very excited to have you all with us today as we look at and review the work that we've been doing on Galileo over the last couple of years, which was realized finally on July 21st when we released a brand new version of Galileo. As I go through today, you'll see that there's some features of Galileo that are the same thing as they ever were, but there are some features that have changed. Notably for K12, we have retained the different user views that you have, the middle school, high school, and other unique views that you have. We've also added a new view, an educator view. Then we'll talk about all of those different views. We've changed a little bit about the way that you log into Galileo, though not significantly, although more significant changes will be coming later. So we've gone ahead and are redesigned and accounted for future changes. And just overall, we have improved the look, feel. We've modernized the page, I think, very nicely. And what's wonderful about the way that we're approaching Galileo now is it's not a static project. We're not done. Galileo is moving to a mode where we will consistently and constantly be working on improvements to the site. Sometimes we'll be making bigger moves than others, but we'll be constantly integrating improvements and changes over time so that you'll continue to see improvements to Galileo. So what you're seeing today isn't a finished product. It will be undergoing a process of continuous improvement. Big credit for feedback on the redesign to date comes to our Galileo Development Advisory Committee. We had K12 representatives on that committee as well. We will be soliciting for new members of that committee soon. We'll be sending out an email very soon to the Galileo listserv. If you're interested in volunteering, there will be some volunteer opportunities to participate on the Galileo Development Advisory Committee coming soon. So look for that email, or if you don't get an email via our listserv or other areas, don't hesitate to contact me directly. I'll make sure that you have my contact information. You should have my email already, but if you don't, I'll make sure that you have it, and you're welcome to reach out to me directly about that. So just a couple of things, logistically speaking, here as we begin this session. These sessions have been pretty well attended, and I have a lot of ground to cover, so I tend to minimize the human contact to some degree. It sounds horrible, but we've tended to have people make sure that they have their cameras off. Just because that can take away some of our bandwidth, and it can also show up on our recording. And unless you want to be face forward to everyone, we share this recording with everyone, and we do put it up on the Galileo website so that others can review the recording that weren't able to attend live. But please keep your cameras off if you would, please. And just because we have a fair number of people in, I tend to present live. I have a slide presentation, but I'll be sharing very little from it. I will primarily be doing live demo. When I'm doing live demo, it's great if you want to ask questions. The best means to do that, and you have a toolbar. If you hover around the middle of your page near the slide deck, you'll see that a toolbar will appear, and on that toolbar you have a little chat window. It's a little talk balloon, and if you'll just use the chat to talk during the meeting. If you want to go ahead and say hi in the chat, just kind of let me know that you're there and let me know that you're seeing that chat button. That would be just fine, and that way I can know that you're all here and ready to participate. So that chat button is there. We are, as I mentioned, we are recording the session. Oops, I'm getting ahead of myself, so that you can go back and review it later on. And Whoops, I turned off the microphone accidentally. That happens to us sometimes. What I was saying is I will be sharing a recording with you via email, and also be posting that recording to a training page that we maintain here at Galileo, and I'll show you how to access that training page in just a little bit as we go through the different new features and pages that we've added to Galileo. Let's see. Mike White, are you with me? Just chiming up, making sure I'm being heard. All right, it's fairly quiet. I haven't seen anybody respond in the chat, and I didn't hear from Mike White, so I'm just making sure that you all are hearing me. Hello again. I'm just testing to see if you all could hear me. If someone could speak up with their microphone or let me know in the chat if and when you're hearing me, that would be great.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. It was very quiet, and I didn't see any responses in the chat when I was asking questions. I appreciate you chiming up and letting me know. Thank you. I'm going to just reactivate my slide. Oh, wrong slides. I'm going to share the right slides here in a second. Sorry, I'm in a mess this afternoon. Bear with me. I am still here. I am just uploading some slides. I am still here. Sorry. There we go. All right, so it seems like everybody people should be hearing me, and we are recording the conversation, so the recording is going. What I was saying was that we'll just go ahead and launch into our Galileo Search overview and review. In just a moment, I am going to be sharing my screen, and if you all want to let me know either by chiming up on your microphone or just letting me know with a message in the chat when you see my screen, you should be seeing my web browser with the new Galileo Search page present. And as I mentioned, as you go through and you have questions, feel free to let me know in the chat, or I think just so that we have a small group and I'm sort of not hearing a lot, let me hear from you via your microphone if you have a question. I think we can do that just fine. But in just a minute, you should be seeing my screen. Well, or not. And if somebody would like to just give me a quick yes that you can see the Galileo page here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, well, I'm going to talk through the new features and functionality, and I'm just sort of going to go top to bottom. I'm going to log in a couple of different ways so that you can see some of the new features and functionality that we've added, and I look forward to hearing any questions and comments as we go through. So what I wanted to show you first is we have added some new ways of logging in. We still retain the plain old password. So if a student or a teacher or you know your password and you just want to come in here and put in the password, you can put it in and go. We have added a new functionality that supports our single sign-on users for Galileo, and we're working on integrating single sign-on for every Galileo library eventually. And what you do here is, since we're using a single sign-on that's institution specific, is you can search for your institution. In my case, I am affiliated with the University System office here, just to kind of show you how all this works and why it's here. And this will route me to my specific login usually. I think I hit a back button or cleared my cache earlier today, so it's being punky. But the University System office login, it's routing me there. But in most cases, for your purposes for K-12, you can look for, you can, if you want to, look for an individual K-12 school. So for example, my daughter goes to Malcolm Bridge Elementary School here in Oconee County, and I can choose that. And then I would just log in with the password. And really the only benefit right now of logging in with the password versus logging in with the with just putting the password down the page is it remembers where I came from. But in the second benefit, I'm going to show you right now, is I'll go more into views in a little bit. But if Galileo, the back end of Galileo in this case, knows my school type, so it knows that Malcolm Bridge is an elementary school, then it automatically logs me into the elementary school view here. Again, don't want to spend too much time on views right now, but we'll spend more time on it later. But that's just one feature that we've added, is we've added it so that you can choose your school. It's still logging you in at the system level, but if you choose your school, it will, if possible, if it can identify that school specifically as an elementary school, it will log you in automatically to the elementary school view. And in just a moment, I'll log in via the password screen so you can see how that works. Because I'm going to log in just broadly right now. If I just know my password, same as it ever was, you just enter your Galileo password. And right now I'm going to log in as a Henry County Schools person. And I entered in generally with that school systems password. I didn't choose a specific school first. So it presents me with an opportunity to choose my view, since it doesn't know what kind of school or which school that I'm coming from. So my choices are elementary, middle, high school, and educator. And again, we'll talk more about all those views a little later on. So I am currently in the educator view. That's the default view. And again, I'll speak more to that later. I'm going to log out again just to show you this is a lot of new functionality. One of the features that we've added, we're currently calling this in the upper right-hand corner, What's New. We'll probably, after things are less new, change the name of that and retain this functionality. But if a new user wants to look around Galileo and find out everything they need to know about what's here, they can click on the What's New button, and it will tell them, hey, this is where you go and find your institution and log in. And it tells, hey, if you know your password, you can just go ahead and log in with that. So it's just some instructions that are built into the page, and it runs really nicely. And once you're sort of finished using that, you can turn it off by just clicking or just clicking skip, and it will turn it off. I'm going to go ahead and log in again so that I can give you the more full and complete tour of a K12 Galileo page. I'm going to go back in using Malcolm Bridge Elementary School. What I want to show you here is these recent selection options. So if I am at Malcolm Bridge Elementary School, but I'm also a patron of Athens-Clarke County Library, or in this case I have Live Oak Public Library, notice that it remembers the libraries that I've come in from. And this is great if you're a teacher that you have your school Galileo account, but then you also like to access resources like, for example, Mango Languages through your public library. Then it provides you with a means to kind of quickly switch back and forth between the libraries that you're affiliated with. And that's another thing that we wanted to do with that Wayfinder, is what we call it, functionality for Galileo. So I'm back here. I'm going to log in again as Malcolm Bridge Elementary School and kind of continue my tour around with you of the different features and functionality that we've added here. Or some things that just pretty much remain the same, and I'll show you those too. Note that we had that what's new on the login page, but after you're logged into Galileo, you also have that functionality again. And again, I'll click on it, and it is just designed to give me a tour of the Galileo page. This main Discover search, as you all probably know, is a way to search most of the Galileo content in one place. And we just kind of give a little bit more detail about that. We have the advanced search there. And then we have things like our Spotlight page, which is a new functionality that we've added that I'll talk more about in a bit also. So I want to because I want to show you the full and complete functionality of Galileo, which is most evident here in the educator view, which is sort of full Galileo designed to support educators. I'm going to show you the first thing that you need to know about changing view. So if I'm landing on an elementary school page and I'm an instructor and I'm doing some professional development work and I don't want to be in the elementary page, I want access to everything, I'll just need to change my view here, choose educator, and now I'm in the educator view, which is full and complete access to any of the resources that you have in Galileo. And now I'm just going to kind of step through the different features that we've added. So as I mentioned, the Discover search is the same thing as it's always been. It's a means to search all of the Galileo content that you have access to with one search for the most part. And that functionality has remained the same. If I go and do a search for fishing ebooks, I can go ahead and search for that. For some reason, it's not. I've logged into a lot of different accounts, and that's why it's prompting me twice. Probably not going to happen to you. It's just happens to me because I log into 10, 12 different Galileo accounts, and even when I clear my cache, sometimes it doesn't always remember that I've done that. So you see that it presents me very quickly and easily with these fishing ebooks. Again, it's searching a lot of ebook content here in Galileo. Going back here, it's taking me back to the elementary page, but I'm going to go back to the educator page just to show you all the features here. One of the things that we've made some good updates to, one of the complaints that we often got about Galileo, particularly in the K12 environment, was that it was just an overwhelming amount of subjects to go through. So we trimmed down substantially the number of databases by subject that we have. They all make sense. They make sense for all of our Galileo sites. If I click on the list here, it's just the first 4 or 5 subjects here on the main page. But if I click on the View All Subjects view, it opens this window that lets me see all of my subjects. So if a student is looking for a biography, or if they're looking for computer resources or drama resources, they can come here and find those resources by subject pretty easily. And if the list of subjects is the subject I want is not on the main page, you see I can go continue to the list alphabetically here. So if I'm looking for geology, or there's a lot of specific Georgia resources, I can click on those and get to my databases by subject. And again, far fewer subjects to go through. Another thing that we've done as additional subjects, we've added elementary school, high school. That way, if you want to quickly get a list of all the elementary school oriented resources by subject, as a subject, you can do so. So that's a functionality that we've added. And I'll dive more into the way that our resource lists look as well in just a few minutes. Just wanted to start by showing you the subjects. We also have the databases by type. And so we have archives and primary sources, articles. So if you had students and you said, hey, I want you all to find an encyclopedia. We have Britannica very often listed in one of our spotlight areas, which I'll describe in a minute. But if I wanted them to find resources by type, and I wanted them to find specifically encyclopedias, they could just do so by going to the type, and they would get a list of all those different Britannica encyclopedias and resources that are available to them in this case. So that is how the types work. All of the different screens that you see in our lists area, our database lists and type lists, also have what are called facets now. So if I wanted to cut down on what I would, so I have 16 total encyclopedias. Well, hey, I only want to see the ones that give me full text or the ones that give me multimedia. And if I want to do that, I can just limit that a little bit by clicking on that limiter and add that term to my search for databases. Going back again, just kind of quickly showing you some of those features, and I'll explore more in just a moment. The last piece that we've added, and this is a new feature, we've had the databases search before, and it was pretty good and it was pretty functional. But what we've added here is specifically a database search so that a student knows a database by name, by subject, or by type they can look. So if I was looking and I was a student and I wanted to find databases about, my teacher told me to find a biography, and I want to search for resources that give me biographies, I can do that now right on the main page. Or if I was looking for a specific resource, my teacher sent home an assignment and I forgot my handout, but I sort of remember she told me to look in Britannica, and Mom looks and she's trying to find that for me, and she goes to the Galileo database search. She can find it really easily by searching Britannica here. So we wanted to add that functionality, and that is a functionality that will evolve. Right now, it just searches the databases, the different individual databases that you have access to through Galileo. But in the future, we want to evolve our search so that we're using what's called something like a bento box approach, where we have each kind of category represented by squares. So you might have a square for different subjects and a square for different material types. And we're going to be doing that in the future, and we're going to be building it in a similar piece of software to what you're seeing work for this database search here. Finally, we have an all databases list. So if you're just looking for everything that you have access to, if you click on all databases, it does just that. It gives you a list of the 170 different unique databases that are available to K12 schools. And that is just a list. One of the things that we're getting feedback already is this list is alphabetical, but people would love to have a browsing facet, and we'll probably add that over to the left-hand side of the screen so that one of the facets you see here would be an A to Z facet. While you can browse alphabetically, sometimes it's nice. Well, my teacher told me to use Britannica Elementary. Well, it'd be nice if I could just click on the B's and select Britannica Elementary from this browse. I mean, you can search it, but sometimes being able to search from a browse is an easier thing to do. So that is the database search. And so you have a list of all your databases, but you also, if you're ever looking for a specific publication, whether it be an ebook, a newspaper title, or a periodical title, if you go into the all journals area, I'll always use the same example here because one of the most common publications that people look for in libraries is Consumer Reports. If I wanted to know if Consumer Reports is available through Galileo, and it is, I can go ahead and click this search, and it tells me all the different Consumer Reports issues that I have access to, including some of the special editions like the buying guide and other things. So if I want to access that, I can just click on Consumer Reports and away I go. So pretty straightforward to find publications by title using that publication search. So that is the publications view. I'm going to go back to the educator view. You get a lot of opportunities for me to kind of toggle back and forth between these different views. The next thing I want to share with you is the spotlight. And what we've done, and this is the default for the educator area. As I mentioned, we wanted to design different views to do different things for our K-12 population, our students, teachers, and media specialists. So on the educator view, we really wanted that to serve educators really well. Teachers, media specialists, if you're looking for articles for you, if you're looking for lesson plans for you, Eric is great for that. So we wanted to put the education resources and some of our ebooks or resources out front and center so that you could find those quickly and easily. And each area, each of the different views has different resources in the spotlight based on the age group. But I just wanted to point out here to you that for teachers and media specialists, the educator view has access to everything. The search, the Galileo main search here at the top searches through everything. So it searches in the index for all the different databases and finds all the articles that are available, articles and ebooks that are available, with some exception. But the Spotlight is here for you to give you quick links to specific education-specific resources or ebook resources that you might use to search for education books or ebooks that are relevant for you. And I'll talk more about that Spotlight area in just a moment. Then we have our About area. If you wanted to update the About area with more information about your school, you can add some additional links there. We just have a link to the school system here. I think there's spaces for 6 links. So if you see that you would like to add some information here in your About area, let us know. And I'll go over our support area and submitting a support ticket in a few minutes, but that's one way you can do that. And we also have our embedded search box tool. We've added a tools area here. If you have ever used the embedded search box, you can embed a Galileo search box on a website. You can put it in any number of places. And if you want to do that, all you have to do, if you've got a little bit of web coding experience, you can pop it in and it's just you can click on it, it gives you that code, and you can add a Galileo search to a learning management system page, to a web page, to a student page, to a handout. I mean, you can put it in several different, well, not really handout, but you can put it on any kind of web environment. And then on the right side, you have our Galileo News, our Galileo system alerts. If there are any issues going on, we let you know there. And that's all coming from our news feed, and we also send all of our news articles out via our Galileo listserv. But that is just a quick look at the major features that we have or we have retained and where you can find those features now. And what I want to do is I'm going to stop presenting for a minute and I'm going to come back in. I've been going on for a minute now. I'm going to go ahead and stop presenting and see if there are any questions from the group. And then after that, see if you guys have added any questions to the chat, and feel free to type away in the chat for a minute, and I'll hang out here and see if there are any questions. And then following that, I'd like to show you our a little bit more detail on the different Galileo views for K12, and then I'll tell you a little bit about our support and our about Galileo areas, so that we can find additional information as needed about Galileo and our programs, our statistics, and other things that you may be interested in finding quickly. Again, just a short pause for questions. All right, seeing no questions, I'm going to go ahead and spring back into action here and go ahead and share again. In just a minute, you'll be seeing the Galileo website again, where I left off. So the next thing I want to show you in terms of functionality of the site, before I get into the support and about areas, is the different views. And I'm just going to take them one by one. We've already had a pretty good look at the educator view. I want to point specifically to the Spotlight, just to tell you that you can change, and I do see a chat has come in, and I'll come back in just a second. I just wanted to point to the Spotlight and say that we are working with libraries. You can actually update and change what's in the Spotlight area for each of your different views. So if you wanted different resources in the Spotlight for your educator view, you could do that, which I think is pretty awesome. What you have to do is you have to have some Galileo admin training in order to do that. And I will go ahead and say that this can be done at the school system level, not at the individual school level as yet. So it would take some coordination in a school system to make sure that these are being updated and shared with resources that everyone in the system had access to. Also, you wouldn't necessarily have to add a Galileo resource in the Spotlight area. You could add a resource like if you had a link to a student page or a parent information page about doing research that you wanted everyone to be able to access quickly and easily, you could update it and include something like that. Or if you had a reading list for summer and you wanted to post that on your website at the end of the school year, you could do something like that. So there's lots of flexibility here in what you can put in the Spotlight area. If you're interested in being able to update and navigate and specifically change that Spotlight area in our Galileo admin site, just contact us. And again, I'm going to cover support in just a minute and with a support request, and we'll be more than happy to tell you when the next training for you is and to talk with you a little bit more about making those updates. I'm going to just come back just for a second because I know we're a small group, and I know I saw a couple questions that may have come in here in the chat, so I'm popping over there. Lexile Search, great question. And Kristen, that is something that you can do in some of our individual databases, and I will talk a little bit about the future, hopefully, of Lexile searching as well. So I will pop over and answer that question specifically. That's a great question. Any others? All right. I'm making sure it's a Kristen, not a Kirsten. That is one of the great name issues I have as I get older and print gets smaller, is telling Kirstens from Kirstens. Bear with me while I pop back out to the share, and I will hit on that topic specifically as we look at the search. And since you asked about it, great question, and that's a great thing to talk about during our look at the views as well. So we haven't as yet, to answer that question as we look at the educator view, we haven't as yet addressed the issue of Lexile searching across Galileo resources. We still have a number of resources available to you that do have Lexile searching or Lexile leveling available. Recently, I don't think that they've made a full-on commitment to it, but I have noticed more of the EBSCO ebook collections do have Lexile information on them, and I don't know if that's an effort by the vendor that we subscribe to those resources through to kind of add more Lexile information. I hope so, because that's really what we have to key off of, is the index that they provide. So as we continue to improve search, and our vendor partner EBSCO that runs the EDS search is also working to improve their platform, I'm hoping that we see continuous improvement in things like Lexile and grade level limiter searching. So I will again point to, and this is a great way to use the database search here. There are a couple of resources, and I can search for Explorer here. I'll go into the views as well in just a minute. So there's Explorer for elementary, and again, one of the great things about having these things divided out by grade level is our vendor EBSCO does provide a version of Explorer for different grade levels. But if I go into Explorer for elementary, I'm already somewhat limited in the content that I'm searching. But if I go into the advanced search here, Lexile level is one of the things that I can search on. As you can see here, I can choose a Lexile level or a Lexile reading score to do that limiting. So I wanted to point that out as something that is helpful with this. And I will point out, again, as I mentioned, I'm going to go to the Discover search. I was playing around with searches last week, and I noticed this. I hope this book comes up. If it doesn't come up in these books, I was looking at resources on STEM. I just did a search for soccer and STEM. Yeah, this book came up. And what I'm noticing is more and more, this is from our EBSCO eBooks K8 collection. You see the database identified there. The Lexile level is included in that. And then I can kind of click on that Lexile level, and it gives me that description of Lexile level. So I'm starting to see that more. Have they added a search in EBSCO eBooks yet to limit by Lexile level? No, but I'm hoping, given that I'm starting to see that more, that they're going to start doing that. STEM and hockey is Lexile 970, for example, here. So do notice that there is some move in that direction by our vendors. And again, they provide the indexing for our content. So hopefully they will continue to make some changes and updates in that area that improve what we're able to offer in terms of indexing. We've also talked about some long-term solutions with Galileo Search as we continue to evolve search that will help with that as well. I'm going to come back, since we got that specific question, and just ask, did that clarify or help, or you knew all that already, but thanks for sharing it with others, or just kind of checking in, Kristen, to see if that's was helpful.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
You're most welcome. All right. Well, we'll pop back out, and again, I'm going to just activate this. And again, what we try to do is we try to also hone the index for our search areas in each of the views. You see, I'm back in the elementary school view now. so that the content is more appropriate for that grade level and age level. So the issue is here. So we have the EBSCO eBooks K8 collection, which is searched here in the elementary school search. But we've also taken out some things that were probably just a little overwhelming. So it's searching Explorer Elementary, it's searching Search Discover Elementary. So it is searching, well, it's not searching Search actually, but it's searching a lot of content that is designed specifically for the K5 user in this case. And the other thing we've done with the K5 users is we have pretty much all of the elementary databases will list in one place. Britannica Elementary, Britannica Kingdom, Search Discover, so as you can see, these are different, the EBSCO ebook K8 collection. And one thing that our K12 advisory group actually asked us not to do was put the database search. They decided it would just be too confusing for K5 students, that would be something that later on that they would want them to learn, but not right now. So, but they do have an all databases lists. So they can get a list of, there's only, I think, one more database, and it's an image database from SERS that they have access to that doesn't fit on that elementary school list. So that is the elementary school view. And again, I'll go back just to show you that in the search, you can, I hope you can see, in most cases, I feel like the content I'm searching is, well, let me search a topic that I know. I was talking to a K5 school a couple years ago, and they were doing specific research on plants and agriculture. And I feel like that the results that we're displaying now, and I'm not going to say that they're perfect, but I feel like we're doing a lot better with these new views and these updated indexes, providing resources that K5 students and teachers can use or use together at least. So that is available there. So go back to Galileo, and again, I'll just go over switching views again. I'm going to go ahead and change views to the middle school view. And just as we saw before, the middle school search is designed specifically to cover those middle school resources. We do add back the databases by subject and type here, and then also the database search. And then in the spotlight area, we have things like Middle Search Plus, Search Discover, Explorer for middle school. We know that the Georgia history requirement is becoming a more prominent thing for particularly sixth graders, I believe, that use a lot of the New Georgia Encyclopedia. And we also work closely with the National History Day program, where they're looking for primary documents for the first time in sixth grade. So we've included our Digital Library of Georgia resource that has our primary resources, photographs, historical documents, those types of materials, and are starting to get some use by middle school. So that is what you see here in the middle view. And in the high school view is pretty much the same as the educator view. And if you're finding a student doesn't find everything they need in the high school view, I mean, they can certainly, there's no reason they can't really use the educator view, although there are a few ebook resources and some other things that they'll get in the educator view that they wouldn't get in the high school view. So the high school view is virtually the same as the educator view. So that is a quick tour of the views. The last things I want to share with you are our support pages and then the About Galileo pages. To access the support pages, you go up to the right corner and click Support. We have done some substantial improvements to our frequently asked questions, so our support articles here. So they're much more searchable. It's much easier for, if I wanted to find articles about using ebooks or how to use ebooks on a specific platform, what devices support downloads for EBSCO ebooks, for example. We have upgraded our platform here. We're certainly using, we've cleaned these up a lot. They've been edited and modernized a lot. So we've really done some serious improvement to our help articles. So that's a good first line of assistance is our help. You can browse all those questions by category here. We wanted to make sure that students consult their teachers and librarians, so we have links back to all of the different school systems for our K-12 students. So if they don't find the help they need, when they're trying to do something here, that they reach out, especially if they're doing research help, which is not an area we really help that much with. We can sort of point them in the right direction or give them technical help. But really, we rely on our teachers and media specialists to help students specifically with their research. So we want to make sure that they find you. And then finally, If someone doesn't find the answer to their question or they need technical help, they can contact our support services, and that's just our support form there. Or on the right-hand side, if you want to ask general questions. And I'll point out that a general thing that I do quite often, and I'm still doing some, I'm doing some this week actually, I do professional development workshops for K12 teachers, students, faculty, staff development days, other things. And I'm doing one for some charter schools right now that are state-funded charter schools. So in any case, I do training. And if, for example, you wanted to contact us and ask me about training, training is one of the things that you could use our customer relations contact form for. So technical help is the form on the left. General things, if you want to suggest a resource that we purchase, you can contact us about that here using this form. But technical issues, something isn't working right or isn't working at all, you can use the technical issues form. So that's what we've done with support. And the very last thing I want to share with you are our Galileo About pages. And you can access those in a number of different ways. I just access them there, but they are in the footer of the page. So there's about the initiative, our mission, our history, our participating institutions, all of that about information is listed there. But we also have just a general about page that I'll click on. And you see you get those different areas as a drop-down menu. So if you're ever looking for data and statistics, if you want to see how K12 libraries are using Galileo, there's lots of usage data available for that. Our different programs like GALILEO Search, which is us, but then also our Affordable Learning Georgia or Digital Library of Georgia programs. Governance, if you want to ever find password policies and things like that, it's in our policies area under governance. Our community, if you want our newsletter, calendar information, or see the Galileo scrapbook, it's there. And then again, one of my favorite additions is our tools and training area, where you'll have our marketing toolkit, our presentations and materials, anything we present is there. Our statistics, and then a training page. And the training page, just want to point this out to you because I will post your recorded training here. And I'll post all the recordings I do, including yours. This is my last session, the scheduled session for K12, but I post those here on the training page. But I've also done some short videos to cover the basics that we're talking about today in terms of what's new with Galileo. And those are just short, easy to view, 5 minutes or less in most cases, videos that target a specific functionality. So we've added those there for you. So there's vendor tutorials, community tutorials, recorded trainings, technical training for library staff. Everything is in the training realm is covered here on the Galileo training page. So that is again a 45-minute or less, 3 minutes left for questions overview for you. And the floor is open for any additional questions that you have. I want to thank you for taking the time to learn more about the work that we've been doing. I know my daughter is back in school. I know that it's busy and it's stressful and there's a lot going on. So for you all to take time out to join us for this, even for 45 minutes, is it's an honor to have you. And I'm thrilled that you all are joining me and that you're doing the good work to educate our children. I do appreciate it. Again, the floor is open for any questions. Again, do note that you will get this recorded. And I'm open to questions after the fact as well. Just as a means to an end, I'm going to pop my email into the chat. So if you need to contact me, of course, you have my email from the invite this morning as well. But if you need to contact me with follow-up questions, I welcome that. Or you're also always welcome to submit a support ticket to, I can't even type this afternoon. Sorry about that. I'm not at USG.edu. That's where I am. But there we go. That's where I am. So don't hesitate to drop me a line if you have a question later on, or if there was something that you wanted to ask in greater detail than we had time to follow up with here. I welcome that. It's my pleasure to talk with you anytime. Could you search by video only? I believe that you can. Hang on just a minute and I will test that out. And if anybody needs to go, don't feel like you have to stay. I'm not running you off either, but I'll be glad to see what we can do there. One of the things I know that we did there, and you should be seeing my screen again, I hope, is we did want to add, because that's a great question, because that's one of the things that as we were working on this that people asked us about was, we need to be able to limit to video, and there's a lot more video content out there. And I believe we added I'm going to go into the educator just so I'm covering everything. I want to say we added a type video. That doesn't mean that multimedia is what we added. So we did add that multimedia. And I know Britannica has a lot of it. And certainly our C-SPAN video library. So there are some lists of resources there. But I want to go to the Discover search at the top of the Galileo page and see. I think there's a limit there too. But bear with me. So many limits here. Black and white photograph, color photograph, illustration, map. Not video yet, but I'm hoping that perhaps they will. Now, one thing that you will notice, though, and actually there's a glitch in this, and it's not our glitch, but we're working on it. If you just do a broader, again, I'm just going to change the educator view for my purposes here. Yeah, I'm not being political at all, but just throwing out global warming. So one thing that you will get in any list of search results with this is that you'll get related images on the right, related historical images. Oh, and yeah, the video results. Now there is a weird glitch in this right now. I don't know if they fixed it yet. Yeah, for some reason it's prompting to sign into a EBSCO account when you do that. And I don't know why. We're working on that. But there is a fair amount of video content that you can access when you just do a general search. And then on the left-hand side, facets to see if there's a video facet. So a short answer, we added a multimedia subject for databases that do offer multimedia. Some of those databases will have a limit to that type of material. Some won't. Let's see if there's a video limit in here. Yeah, this one does have a video limit, so I can update my search results. Only one, but it does have a video. So once you're in your search results, if you look at those facets on the left, there is in the material types, there is a video limit. So there's some ways to do that. That's one of those things that we will continue to work on. It was a specific use case when we worked with our Galileo Development Advisory Committee, but for now, there's some limited ways that you can do that. So videos by subject, and then just limiting by that video facet when you're in that Discover search. Hope that was helpful. Great question. All right. Well, seeing no other questions, again, if you're tapping away at a question, that's fine. I'm happy to hang out for a couple more minutes. But again, I thank you all for your time, your attention, your attendance, and for joining us. And we'll look forward to hearing any other questions that you have as follow-up. Thank you so much for your time today. Bye-bye.